and it's so sensational. I'm Sophia. As you may already know, I'm completely blind. Well, I can't see light. I can tell if it's night or day or if there's a light on in the room, but I can't like see anything, colors or people. With that being said, I'd like me to today's video, Mythbusters. Some people think that when you're blind, you have super hearing, and unfortunately, I cannot hear the cat sneezing 2 miles away. I just can't. So the thing is, most people think they're super hearing, but what it really is because you're missing one of the 5 senses. You rely on the other ones more heavily. So it's not that they're super hearing, it's just that I pay more attention. So because I can't see, I'm listening more. So I'll listen and I'll hear, like some people, I can recognize them by the way that they walk, because most sighted people wouldn't pay any attention to that, but I can hear because you're walking heavily, or if you're carrying a set of keys that you carry all the time, I hear that and I'm paying attention. Or sometimes by the way that you smell, if you're a smoker or if you wear a certain perfume, those are things that I'm paying attention to because I can't see you, so I'm paying attention to those things. A lot of times people think, well, and also, all blind people cannot play the piano. Okay, well, I can play the piano, but I learned before I was blind.
Wait, you can play the piano?
Yeah.
The more you know.
Also, another thing I heard when I was in the hospital, someone told my mom, well, you know, once you're diabetic and they start doing amputations on you, then you get more amputations. And besides being insensitive, that's also not necessarily true. When you're diabetic, you need to pay closer attention to any cuts or sores that you may get on your foot, because I know with me, I had neuropathy, so I didn't feel it the way that normal people would, because if I had felt the pain, it should have been like intense pain. But because I didn't feel it that way, I wasn't thinking it was that serious. And so by the time I went to the hospital, gangrene had set in, osteomyelitis, which is infection in the bone. That's what really causes the amputation, that infection in the bone. So I don't know what the future may hold, but I know that I am paying closer attention now to anything that's going on with my feet. Because I can't see, I have my kids checked, I'll make sure I go to the podiatrist. But just being a diabetic doesn't necessarily mean you get one amputation that you can count on continuing to get them. Some people also automatically be like, yeah, because they think they know. So they're like, yeah, those guide dogs, they tell you when to cross the street. No, as smart as Quincy is, he cannot tell me at a lighted intersection when the light is green. I have to tell him when to go. So he will check cars. Like if it's not safe, he won't go. But he doesn't know when the light is green and it's time for us to go. When you're blind, when you take mobility, even before you get a seeing eye dog, you have to know how to cross the street safely using a white cane. So you're taught how to listen for traffic and to listen for the surges, so you'll know just by sound when the light is changing and when the cars are going. Because you also have to check, because some cars are turning in front of you. So you have to make sure you're listening, which goes back to the first thing I was saying. It's not that I have super hearing, but it's because I'm paying attention. So Quincy can't tell me when to cross the street, but whenever I hear the surge and I know when it's safe for me to cross, then I can tell him forward. Disabilities aren't contagious. People tend to treat you. It comes back to a story that my mother told me. So my father was blind, not due to diabetic retinopathy like me, but he had glaucoma and retinitis. But he never took any classes, or he never had a white cane, which I think is what made me fight so hard for my independence, because I didn't want to have to depend on anybody. And I know my mom told me, like, after we were grown, how she went to a cookout one day with him, and she stopped and left him with the men that were outside and asked them to, look after him while she went in the house with the women. And then not too long after that, he was brought back into the house and they sat him in the living room by himself. And this was hurtful to my mother, and I know it had to hurt my dad, because being blind is already lonely enough. You can be in a room full of people, and when you're blind, if everyone acts like you're not there and no one is speaking to you, it's like the loneliest feeling in the world. So my dad didn't have a cane, so when they sat him there, that's just where he was. And then, my mom decided to leave. But, it's okay to talk and treat people with disabilities the same as you would anyone else. I've had to learn that being blind, you have to be your own best advocate. You have to speak for yourself. It helped me find my voice, because I know I don't want, and that's why I wanted my white cane so bad. Now, some people are ashamed to have their white cane, but when I went blind, I wanted it because I wanted that independence. Like, no one was going to be able to put me anywhere and just leave me. So, with that being said, like I said, you should treat blind people the same way you treat anyone else. Treat blind people, people with amputations, anyone with a disability, like it's not a disease. At least it's not a contagious disease. So with that being said, I do appreciate you so much for looking at my video. Please like, subscribe, share, all of those good things. And until next time, I'll see you later.